So in the human male reproductive system, that system contributes or it consists a male reproductive system मध्ये entire system of the male reproduction, it contains the first part, that is the testis. We are discussing the main function of the testis as well as the structure of the testis, where it lies. It lies in the scrotal sacs. These are in pairs, and internally the testis performs the important function, that is the production of the male gametes. And these male gametes have been produced inside. These male gametes are produced inside the seminiferous tubules. So seminiferous tubules having germinal epithelium, and these germinal epithelium, they undergoes a typical reduction division where the male gametes are produced. And once the male gametes are produced in the region of the testis, testis मध्ये male gametes तयार होतात. These male gametes are nothing but the sperms, and as these are produced in the scrotum, that is sac-like structures present on the either side of the penis. Here such pair of testes are there, which useful to produce the male gametes, that is sperms. So once the sperms are produced here in the region of the testis, it requires to carry the sperms where actual copulation takes place, where actual fertilization takes place. So we have studied in detail the TS of testis, LS of testis. In seminiferous tubules, the male gametes are produced. From seminiferous tubules, they are collected in the arete testis. From arete testis, they carried or they transported in the region of the vas efferentia. From vas efferentia, outside the testis here, upper, middle and lower part of the epididymis, they transported in this region, and the main function in the epididymis, the maturation of the sperms takes place in the region of the epididymis. From epididymis, through the duct, that is vas differentia, the sperms have been carried to the vas differentia, and finally from the vas differentia in the region of seminal vesicle, they are released. So the function of different ducts, last time we have discussed it. Then today we have to observe the function of different glands which requires for male reproductive system. So we have studied in detail the function of different glands. And here, hello friends, I am Mr. P.M. Sutar, working as a lecturer in biology at Mahavir Panduranga Salunke Junior College, Manerajuri. So today I have to discuss about the different glands, what the function of these glands and which substances have been produced by these glands, which are responsible or which performs different functions useful in the process of the fertilization, useful in the process of the reproduction. So here the part we are discussing the testis, function of the testis, that is production of the gametes, accessory ducts. These are ducts, ductला आपण वाहिन्या म्हणतो. These ducts, they carry the produced or formed sperms from the region of the testis up to the region where actual fertilization takes place. Then accessory glands, सहाय्यभूत ठरणारे ज्या glands आहेत. And from the accessory gland, the first gland, there is a seminal vesicle. And these seminal vesicles, where they are located actually? Here, to the posterior side of the urinary bladder. These are in pairs, seminal vesicle, these are present in pairs. So both the seminal vesicle, they produces atypical chemical substances, and these typical chemical substances such as fructose, fibrinogen and prostaglandins. And what contribution of the seminal fluid in total amount of the semen ejaculated. Suppose this is the semen, and the seminal vesicle, it secretes the seminal fluid for example seminal fluid, and the contribution of the seminal fluid in the semen, it contributes about 60% of the total volume of the semen. या सिमेंटच्या टोटल व्हॉल्यूमच्या 60% भाग जो आहे तो सेमिनल फ्लुइड्स आहे. and this seminal fluid again it consists 3 chemical substances, for example fructose, fibrinogen and prostaglandins. So these all 3 substances perform different functions finally which are useful for process of fertilization. So what function by the fructose? So fructose are useful to supply. आता fructose काम काय या ठिकाणी? They are useful to provide the nourishment, useful to provide the energy for sperms or energy for the male gametes. Male gametes ला energy देण्याचं काम, male gametes ला nutrition provide करण्याचं काम या fructose substance आहे. And second, that is fibrinogen. So that fibrinogen, as the word indicates its meaning, it coagulates the ejaculatory substance in the region of the vagina. That function is performed by fibrinogen. Prostaglandins. So the substance prostaglandin is useful to stimulate the reverse peristalsis in the region of the vagina. Here the reverse peristalsis, it stimulates the movement of the reverse peristalsis in the region of the vagina, and that is responsible for faster movement of the sperms towards the egg. So the movement of the sperm is with the help of prostaglandins. Nourishment of the sperms with the help of the fructose. Fibrinogen, the coagulation of the ejaculatory substance. So these 3 chemical substances are released by the duct seminal vesicle in the form of seminal fluid. आता इथे काय ॲसेसरी ग्लँड मध्ये प्रत्येक ग्लँडचं जे काम आहे, each gland perform a typical functions. From that first gland we have to discuss here the seminal vesicle. These seminal vesicles are present in the pairs which are situated towards the posterior region of the urinary bladder. या seminal vesicle कुठे आहेत? urinary bladder च्या posterior region मध्ये. These are in pairs, या 2 किंवा जोडीमध्ये या ठिकाणी seminal vesicle आहे. That seminal vesicle, it secretes the seminal fluid, and if we concentrate on the contribution of the seminal fluid to the total ejaculated semen, it contributes about 60% of the volume of the total ejaculatory substance. मग आता seminal fluid जे आहे 60% भाग सेमेनचा हा जो आहे तो seminal fluidचा आहे, आणि या 60%मध्ये from the 60% there are 3 main chemical constituents like the fructose, fibrinogen and prostaglandins, whereas we are observing the function of each chemical substance. That is, fructose useful to provide the nourishment, provide energy for sperms. Fibrinogen useful for coagulation in the region of the vagina, and prostaglandins, they are useful for, or they responsible to stimulate the reverse peristalsis movement in the region of the vagina, which are responsible for faster movement of the sperms towards the egg. So that function is performed by seminal fluid secreted by a pair of glands, that is seminal vesicle. So prostate gland is second gland from the male reproductive system. This prostate gland, as seminal vesicle, these are in pairs, but that prostate gland is a single one, it is a larger one. It consists about 20 to 30 lobes. So single gland, large one, single one, 20 to 30 lobes are there, and these 20 to 30 lobules, they constitutes the single prostate gland, and this prostate gland secretes the prostatic fluid. Seminal vesicle secretes seminal fluid, prostatic gland secretes the prostatic fluid, and that prostatic fluid, it contributes about the 30% of the total semen which is ejaculated. From that 30% contribution, from the prostatic fluid. या prostatic fluid चं contribution किती आहे? 30% contribution prostatic fluids. And that prostatic fluid, it is a slightly acidic one, milky white substance, and that prostatic fluid, it consists the main chemical constituents like the citric acid, acid phosphatase, and some other enzymes. So this acidic nature of the prostatic fluid, it is useful for the process of reproduction, because from the region of the vagina there is also acidic fluid is there. So this acidic nature of the acid phosphatase, which is useful for, or it favors for the successful fertilization. So that prostatic gland, it secretes the prostatic fluid, it contributes about 30%, and it is having citric acid, acid phosphatase, and some other enzymes secreted by this one. So this acid phosphatase protects the sperms from the acidic environment of the vagina. So this is about the prostate gland. Some common questions there in always remember from the textbook. This prostate gland, above the age of 50 years, the prostatic cancer is there, and that prostatic cancer is, for your general information, in the textbook, from the block, that is always remember, their information is there, and the prostaglandin function, as we are referring internet is my friend in that block. The question asked there, what is the role of the prostaglandins? The role of the prostaglandin we have discussed in the seminal vesicles, and in the seminal vesicle we know the function of the prostaglandins. Then the third gland, it is last one, third gland, that is, here we are discussing two glands, one seminal vesicle which are present in the pairs, and this one prostate gland, a singular one. Then Cowper's glands or bulbourethral gland. These Cowper's glands, where these are? These are smaller one as compared to remaining two glands. So these are Cowper's gland. These are smaller one present in the pairs, and that Cowper gland, these are pea-sized one and paired one situated on either side of the urethra. Urethraच्या दोन्ही बाजूला त्या Cowper's glands आहेत. And these Cowper glands, they secretes the alkaline viscous mucus substance or mucus fluid like substance which acts as a lubricant during the copulation. So lubrication is provided by the Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland. So the function by seminal vesicle, from seminal vesicle, the fructose useful for nourishment, fibrinogen for coagulation, prostaglandins for reverse transmission, that is a faster movement, and from the prostate gland, prostatic fluid, which is acidic one, useful for survival of the sperms in the acidic nature of the vagina. The Cowper's glands, these Cowper glands secretes the lubricants, or they are responsible for lubrication, which requires at the time of intercourse or at the time of fertilization. Then the last part of the male reproductive system, the semen as well as external genitalia, I discussed in the next lecture.